Blessings, everyone. I'm sat here with my good friend Pepe. Some of you may know him from the podcast and many other times that I've been sharing his wisdom. And today we're sat here at Ziban. And yeah, we've got some news to share with you. So, Pep, just in essence, would you just share a little like what Ziban is? Because maybe there's some beings that haven't heard that before.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon. So Ziban is a place in this dimension, and it's a regenerative place, which means that we have put in a lot of work with regards to regenerating the space, regenerating works to regenerate the soil, the planet, ourselves, the ecosystem. And so we put in the practices of permaculture, meditation, yoga, movement, and other disciplines too, in order to adopt a lifestyle that's regenerative. So here we host also some retreats and some courses and workshops and other small events for intimate groups, like small groups, and we practice together and we learn from each other what we do here. So we're growing a food forest garden, for example. We have other food gardens. We have a lot of regenerative soil systems that we practice and we put in. We have beautiful spaces such as this dome behind us, the yoga shala, a teepee space where we sit and play music around the fire. So we do all these small community events, and they are all linked into not just living sustainably, but we're going deeper than that. We're regenerating the spaces, and we're regenerating also into the future. So what we leave behind would be a legacy for the future generations too.
Wonderful. Ziban. Yeah, I like that. And also what I love is this idea of regenerating the human. Because if we don't regenerate ourselves, as you've said to me many times, you know, the nature itself will take care of itself. But can we learn to be in symbiosis with nature itself and learn from her? Because we're interconnected, right?
Yeah, it's super important, no? Super important. A lot of the practices that I find usually, like for example in the permaculture world, a lot of people, like, because we are trained in the permaculture world, of course, to observe. However, most of the time, that observation starts by observing outside, and we don't really observe inside too. And that is where the meditation and the yoga come in as a great practice together. Which also, the meditation and the yoga, most of the time, we're just observing inside and we're not doing the work for the outside, as in like planting the trees and regenerating the soil, for example. So it's a great symbiotic infusion to merge the two together, because one is more looking inwards and one is looking outwards, and one is regenerating the self and the body, and one is regenerating everything else outside. So it's just like always then also finding that balance to keep on in that dance.
Yeah, dancing together. So with that in mind, you can find more information about what Ziban's up to on the website. But we're coming together for a little, me and a few other beings are coming together for a little, well, I don't want to call it a retreat, really. It's more of, how would you describe it? A gathering, and it's called Back to the Roots. And this is a series of events that will start happening now, birthing out of Ziban. And that's really what we want to talk to you about today and invite you to come and play. I'm going to be taking part myself mostly and just offering a little seed of back to the roots of our authentic communication. But Pep, do you want to describe a little bit about your intention about the back to the roots and also how people can dive in?
So back to the roots, kind of as the name implies, is actually like looking inwards and downwards into where our stability is. And the roots also are connected with our base chakra and also connected with our ancestors. And it's also where a lot of the energy is residing, no? It's in there. Like sometimes, for example, in a lot of trees around, you can cut the top off, but if the roots are holding steady, they just reshoot again. So the roots are super important in life. And back to the roots is about focusing back into stabilizing the ecosystem that holds us, that holds our integrity, holds our resilience, holds our strength, and connects us also with the ancestors. So there's a lot of different practices. Some of them is about looking around into the permaculture design of our lifestyle, wherever that may be, seeing the examples in the space and what we can take for each of us. wherever we may be it in the country, be it in the city, be it in an apartment, be it in a community. It doesn't really matter, because permaculture's principles and examples, they have no boundary. We can use them wherever. There's no rule book. We can just go and activate and imply these wherever we are. And then there's also the practices of growing the food, understanding certain practices that we could also learn from, even if we live in a small apartment, for example, about sprouting, growing microgreens, for example, and things like this. And also about yoga. There will be yoga practices with Melania. And there will also be chanting, we'll also be sitting around the fire, and we'll also be journeying with sound, because we believe that sound is super important too, as a frequency vibration to help us regenerate. So there's all these practices that we're gonna merge together and do these 4 days to really have kind of a regenerative kickstart and connect back with our roots. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And you also said that, I remember you talking to that this is beautiful for maybe those out there that are wanting to birth community or wanting to birth a project right now, and using this 4 days as a kind of recalibration to get clear on what it is that they're creating.
Yeah.
Like come back to the roots of their essence of what they want to birth into the world, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that briefly?
Yeah, so this is kind of an opportunity, a great opportunity to see what it's like in 4 days, have a taster, but at the same time it's a strong taster, and understand what a space can give you and what it entails in order to keep a space up. And as we say, it's going to be one of a series of events, but it's going to be leading to, for those who really want that, who really want to, like they're about to embark on a bigger project, have a life change, start a community, start a farm, whatever it is, we're also going to be leading that up into an immersion. So this is going to be a 4-day retreat, but it also potentially could lead into a 1-month immersion. So in that 1 month, you get to learn more about permaculture design and what it entails in order to live in a space where you have more sovereignty over your food, your water, your energy, you budget all your stuff together, and what that means, what kind of responsibility and work and mindset it needs in order to make that happen. And so it's an opportunity of an investment of 1 month in your life to come, spend a month here, understand what it takes to clean your water, to clean your stuff, to compost your material, compost your toilet stuff, manage your time properly, and understand the nature cycles in order to live harmoniously with nature in your space, and also communicate that work within your space if there's a community living with you or a family or whatever. So yeah.
Yes, that's the deeper journey.
Exactly.
But that doesn't, you don't have to do this 4-day event. Like if you do the 4-day event, it doesn't mean you have to do it's not like a seed that you have to do the month long. The month long is for a small number of beings. And also even the 4 days is only, how many beings can actually fit in the space?
These are both intimate settings. So we cannot have more than 15 people in all. And so both for the 4-day and also for the 1 month, we cannot have more than 15 people together doing this.
And you actually said 10 would be a good number.
For the 1 month.
For the 1 month.
I mean, even 15 can be, but 10 is kind of, obviously people will have more space. However, we will be using the space outside a lot too.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a little seed. Many of you know on my channels that I've spoken with Pepe and been exploring with him for a decade now. We realized the other week that, we met in Malta some years ago. Really an inspiration to me, a great friend, but, dedicated to really making it happen. Like in the last 3 years, what's happened here on this land from when I first came to seeing it now, it's like, there's real evidence of what's possible from experience. So if you've been considering it, or you've seen us posting about Ziban or me posting about Ziban, this little 4 days could be, as Pepe described it just now, a strong taster. I would say a little taster, but a strong taster to get a feel of it. And then, the potential to dive in later in the year. And also this sense of back to the roots will now be a kind of ongoing opportunity, because I'm speaking for you here, but you know that is really what you want to offer now. Now you've got this foundation, this base. You want to support as many beings as possible, that they can get a taste of that, and then you know go in their own way and replicate it where necessary, as you've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Which I think is really that's how it ripples on beautifully.
It's a long-term thing, kind of like, for example, if you go to a festival and then the next year the festival is also there, or 2 years later. So we're thinking about using kind of that framework, where we don't repeat, of course, nothing's repeated. Every event will have its own focus, and it will have its own team, and it will have its own energy in itself.
Yeah, its own constellation.
Yeah, so basically, you know, it's even for people to come back again and experience that again in a new chapter, and rekindle certain things. So that's the opportunity. It's not to kind of delay, I'll miss it this year, I'll go next year. Let's if you feel it, the call is to just jump on it, you know, and go with what you're feeling.
Well, really to build the roots of a thriving community, actually, because what really wants to birth out of Z-Barn also is a community of beings that are really embodying and walking regeneratively, yeah? And that's why this little 4 days is tapping into all these different elements, so you get a little taste of how we can weave that all together. Yeah, that's about it, no? Anything else that you feel like you want to share?
Oh, no, we're open to also receive any feedback, any questions that you might have, any queries that we would like to share. Then we're also here for that, of course.
So then go to the link underneath this video, or go to zbarn.com, and you'll find everything there. And that's it. You know how it works. Jump on board if you're feeling the call, if your heart is already vibrating from what you've heard today. And also you can check out the Instagram, because you share a lot on there. What's your Instagram again?
The Instagram is z.barn.
z.barn.
So it's ZEE.barn.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.